in style on this Monday morning. Alongside our 11-year NFL veteran, our Vol for life, it is Ramon Foster.
Hey.
We've got Robert Walsh behind the glass, making it all happen, spinning the hits. I'm Kayla Anderson. Will Bowling out for the next couple of days, but we do have a very special guest in studio. Ran Carthon, kind enough to come in live in studio. Yes, he is live, not on the phone, to share just the whole 9 o'clock hour with us and to be our special guest. So first and foremost, Ran, we really appreciate you coming on in. And I'll just start with this. What has it been like over the last several days with learning that you were out with the Tennessee Titans?
Well, first and foremost, thank y'all for having me. I hate you, Ramon, for forcing me to come in-house. I could be home helping my kids get off on the bus, but you take away dad time with them, so don't feel bad.
I'm breaking up families
Yes,
out
you
here?
are.
Damn.
Yes, you are. No, you're actually helping my wife because, we've been hosting a lot of people since December. Yeah. So now she'll get to have the house to herself for a couple hours. So
there you go.
But to answer your question,
the palatial to herself.
Don't do that.
Okay, right, I was just checking.
But to answer your question, Kayla, it's been different. Having this last week off, since Tuesday, and but it's also been a blessing, because of the outpour of love I've received, from people around the league. People nationally, but more important, people locally. Mm-hmm. It's been, been a bit overwhelming at times, but it's been good. And like I said, for me, man, it's having those moments with my kids. It's funny how God works sometimes. Is the news breaks and then you have a snow day, And my oldest daughter was home from college. And so we didn't allow her to drive back because of the weather, because she drove here from, where she goes to school. And so it gave us a moment as a family to just be together, and those are the times that you cherish. But yeah, I've been, working my way through it. And, like I said, the outpour of love I received from, all my friends, family, and just well wishes has been great.
Ran, for you, you came into this job, you got the warm welcoming, and obviously you had a plan of what you wanted to do for the organization as a general manager. In what way did you feel like this was surprising, or is this something that in any way you felt like, maybe my time is short here?
Well, you never approach any situation thinking like, oh, I'm going to be one and done, or, unless you're a college basketball player, you know what I mean?
Truth.
But I know at the end of the day, we're going to be judged by wins and losses, no matter what it is. And, our record just hadn't been good the last 2 years, and I understand that. But that's ultimately what it comes down to. If you look at, most people that have been let go around the league, it comes down to the wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
It does, man. Bert, we got something we need to play for him real quick, man, because you mentioned me trying to, bring you in and you dropped the kids off and stuff like that, but I got a little clip for you that we want to play.
Lord, I don't know where we
Are you at work? Got fired yesterday.
Wow.
For real? I thought you had a day off yesterday. I did. I went in there to pick up my check. Supervisor called me about 4 o'clock. Talking about they got me on videotape.
Napping. Napping.
And I know you ain't go out like that. Hell no. They ain't got me on tape.
Boy, the NFL locker room, it exists. You know what I mean? There's so many words I could call you right now, but, this is a family-friendly show. That I'll wait.
Or so they say.
Yeah, I'll wait till we're off air. What's funny is, honestly, this does remind me of the locker room. Because I've been on a team where, one of my teammates who, we all loved and cared about, and I still talk to this day, he was going through a divorce. And we were in the weight room working out, and all they played was like Usher, Let It Burn.
Let It Burn.
And just other breakup songs. Yeah. While this man, and it was, they made light of a serious situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's funny.
That's
funny. Just know that the get back is coming.
Exactly.
Yeah, I figured that we can go ahead and just lean into that one a little bit. You talking about you have no time, I had to drop the kids off. Nah, we got to lean into that one a little bit. Man, but you said you also wanted to just, we talked. Now, I somewhat let the fans know, earlier this week. It was like, no, you said you was in a good spot. I wanted to allow you to get that out. What does that mean for you? You're in a good spot, Ran.
No, I mean, because again, it's one of those situations where I got love and respect for a lot of people, over there at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, and that won't change.
Yeah,
and I'm not the type of person that's gonna walk away and carry baggage and hatred or anything in my heart. That's just not who I am, and to me, that's just not the way to live.
Absolutely.
It's like me drinking poison, hoping that it hurts somebody else. So,
right.
But no, my main thing and one of my main focuses of wanting to come on here and do the show today was to really thank the fan base, the loyal fan base that's, that was there through tough times. And I get it. I get the criticism. I understand that because that comes with the job. I'm all here for, objective, constructive criticism. My only issue is I take issue with the personal stuff, when people come at me personally, especially if you don't know me personally, because I think if you knew me personally, you would feel a different way. But, again, the fan base was great. There are a few fans in particular that I'm seeing in my head, that, rain, sleet, hail, snow, they were there, they were rooting, they were cheering. And you have to appreciate that. I want to thank the players, and the coaches. I've talked to a good majority of the players that have reached out, and coaches as well. Like, these people will be, forever a part of my life. But yeah, man, it's one of those deals where it's news cycles.
Yeah.
It's news cycles. And that's what I was, explaining to my family. Like, it's in the news now. And I'm like, 3 days from now, there'll be something else
another
comes
title,
up.
Yeah.
There's another headline to come and everyone will move on. But, again, I like I said, I have no ill feelings. I wish those guys nothing but the best over there. I really, truly believe in Callie and what he can do,
right.
as the coach. And I know he'll be, much better next year, and you guys would just have to be there to understand how he works diligently at his job every single day, to have a plan every single week, and for him to have a plan, moving forward. You know what I mean? So I really believe in him and wish him nothing but the best.
So you guys had a good relationship.
Yeah, we had a great relationship. Callie he's a guy's guy. He's a football coach. And I think people take, his demeanor, his outwardly demeanor is one thing. Yeah. But trust me, you don't want to get on that other side, because I've seen it, and I think you guys have seen it.
That's usually the case with those types of guys.
Yeah, my grandfather always told me it's not the loud ones you got to watch.
Exactly.
No, it's the quiet ones.
It's the quiet ones.
Silent assassins.
Yeah.
It is the quiet ones, man. Adjustments for you and the family. How is that going this week? Because you have older kids, you also have younger ones too, man. Able to deal with it is because it's public. It's different if I'm working at a local establishment and I get let go. It's like, oh, man, find another job. No, you were breaking news.
Oh yeah, and but that was one of those things where with the bigs, we call our older kids the bigs. With the bigs, you have that upfront conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean, and you process whatever it is they're going through. At the time, and and with the littles, you just tell them, you kind of soften it to them. Now, my 7-year-old, he's probably more in tune than me when it comes to what's going on in the world and and everything. And so he had some interesting questions. And then my youngest son, he was more concerned about being able to go to games.
Oh, really? I would too. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And where he was going to be sitting. So. It's the adjustment. I think the biggest adjustment for everybody is having me home, disrupting their daily lives. And I've heard these stories before, right? You think about a couple of my friends who played, 10, 11, 12 years in the league. Right. They retired, and now they're home every day. And some of them didn't even know where the spoons and forks and knives were in the house, or they come in and try to, disrupt the flow. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so anybody that knows my wife knows that she runs stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to make sure I don't step on her toes and just get in where I fit in. But I know it's being back home, being able to be there and, and help her with the kids and, be a bigger part of that. It's good. It's going to be good for us moving forward until the next thing comes up.
No doubt. Also, I see you got in the Dreamville this morning. You've been listening to a lot of J. Cole, 2014 Forest Drive, too?
Here's the thing. that Forest Hill Drive album, I was living in St. Louis when that dropped. I might have listened to that album probably every day for like two months.
Dang.
Just because I liked it that much. But so my family, we got Apple Music and we track out Apple Music. And at the end of the year, they give you the playback.
Right.
I had by far the least amount of music listened to this year because I actually stopped listening to music. This would have been like October. So when I went back and I checked, my October stats, November, December, only thing that popped up was that I didn't have enough music played to count.
To even give you,
So probably starting October, I just didn't really watch anything on TV. I turned off the TVs in my office, and just because I was trying to be cognizant of what was going in my brain and in my subconscious mind, at the time. So I was trying to protect my mind, and so I started, reading a lot more than what I had been.
Right.
You probably saw me on the trips, I had a book, reading a book, whether that was, on the flight out, on the bus ride to the game, reading a book. And so I will definitely be getting back into music, just to get caught up because I know there's so much stuff, that I've missed, friends in the industry that have sent me their albums. And I'm just like, hey, man, like, I know it's jamming, but I can't get to it right now. So I'm looking forward to binging that.
And that's the thing. You miss out sometimes when you are in roles like this of real just life in general, right? Because you are so focused on what you're doing. And that brings me to, Ran, you talked about it's one thing, it's a business, but it's another thing to take personal shots when you don't know you. And it is what it is. There were some reports out there in terms of, sleeping on the plane or whatever it might be. You don't have to go into detail, but I do want you to have an opportunity to speak on your own, just who you are and what you do in terms of how you carry yourself in the business, which I think it's hard for people to believe that lazy would ever be a word that they would use with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been called a lot of things, and that isn't one of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, too, when it comes to stuff like that and people who speak on you don't know you personally, like, you can shrug that off. You can shrug that off because, again, there are a lot of people that know me and know who I am, know my character, know what I'm made of. And so those people know, and that's all that matters to me. So, I mean, again, I'm not going to give credence to, again, someone who is, never sat down, had a personal conversation with me or been in my home or been invited to my home or I've been invited to their home. So, there are a bunch of people that say things about me, even before I even had a chance to do the job, there were negative things said about me. And so if I gave that credence, then, I'd lose my mind, especially, in this day and age. So none of that really means anything to me, to be honest with you. But I know who I am. The people I love, the people that I cherish, they know who I am. And so if they felt that way, then it'd be different. It would be something for me to, take a look at. But other than that, I could give two.
You know what?
It's a family show.
Exactly. You're doing good though, Ran, because if it was me, I'd probably already be F-bombing. So
look at Bert on some ratchetness out. I'm like, no, say it. You say it. No, that's funny though, because when I heard that, I saw that. I ain't really read the article like that. I just saw what was attached to it, and I was just like, wait, hold up. Like the day that you interrupt us at camp, you would send in, I think you sent me like a picture of somebody then that you were scouting. Then you also said I look like the Iowa State kid or something like that. So I was like diving into like drafts and like work. That was confusing to me to have that put out there. But we're up against the break. We got you in the next segment.
Yeah, let's have some fun. This is too sappy.
Too sappy. Should we play the Usher when we return? Let it burn.
Let it burn.
Ran Carthon in studio live right now. We'll continue this conversation. That's coming up next on RK Dub here on 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back into RK Dub on this Monday morning. Like I said, Mondays can kind of be a drag sometimes, but hopefully on this show, we pick you up a little. In studio, Ran Carthon. Been here since 9 a.m., continuing with us today. And we've got a full chat. I'm sure, the phone lines, if they could be popping, they would. But people are just interested in listening, which is never a bad thing, right?
I got one quick question for you before we go to
here we go.
ratchetness. You ain't got to speak directly in your situation, but how in these situations do it not work as far as like jobs? Because I got a homeboy of mine, his real good friend Gerard, is one and done. The way it goes around the league, like what goes in place in front offices for these type of situations? Then we get past the sappiness.
Honestly, and this is something Kayla and I were talking about off air. It varies from place to place. It really does, and it can, and that's not the political answer. That's the truth.
Right.
You look at any situation around the league, whether it's a coach, whether it's a GM that were let go in just this cycle.
Right.
And I guarantee you, every single situation is different.
Yeah.
Every single situation is different. So I know that probably didn't give you the answer that you were looking for.
No, I get it.
But I think every situation is just different because you don't. No one knows what's going on behind closed doors except for those people that were behind the doors.
Right.
And so some of the things that come out publicly, you don't know how true they are. And so again, it's really different based on the organization.
It is. And you had an outpouring of support, too, from people that hit you up, asking, like, it's fascinating how interconnected the NFL is on, like, how people feel about people that respect. And it's all connections and how this world goes. Trust me, I've learned that on my back end, too. It's just like, oh, you knew who I was? You know what I'm saying? Like, it really is that type of world, though.
No, 100%. And it's a... it's a family. Again, there was another conversation that, Kayla and I were having off air, about, just the different people that you've worked with throughout the years, that, you guys separate, you guys go in different places for a multitude of reasons, whether people get promotions, get jobs, or people are fired. But again, when they see one of their brothers down, it's the immediate, response. And then you get, it's the text, it's the calls. And then, it start coming in later.
Yeah.
Like even on my way here, I got 3 or 4 texts from people, hey, man, I wanted to let the dust settle, and reach out and see how you were doing. Even since I've been here, on air, I can tell you now, there are people in the Bay Area that are listening to this that are texting me, right now. And so, again, it's family,
it is.
And these logos don't, dictate who your family can be. We're not all the Hayward family where, both brothers can be on the same team. You know what I mean? That makes it easy for mom and the other family.
That'd be nice, right?
That would be great, but at the same time, we have, relationships with, people at, people in San Fran and people in Minnesota and people in Cleveland.
Right.
And, people in Houston, you know what I mean? It's as crazy as that is, a division rival, which was always a weird thing to navigate, for me personally, because of the love I have for D'Amico Ryans and his family.
No doubt.
And, I was telling Kayla, my kids, when they lived in San Francisco or in San Jose, they went to school out of district,
right?
Which was a 30-minute drive from where we lived, but that was a block from D'Amico Ryan's house. So my kids would leave school and they would go to D'Amico's house and do their homework and, wait for me and my wife, to come get them. My daughter would babysit, for him. And then, I get a job here, he gets a job in Houston, and now we're supposed to hate each other.
Rivals,
You know what I mean? But it was still, nothing but love between us and our families, and it will forever remain that, because I always used to tell players, this game is cyclical.
Yeah.
And one thing I told the players, I'll never lie to you. You might not like what I have to say, but I'll never lie to you, because we could end up in the same building somewhere else. And I don't want a player to be able to kill my credibility in the locker room saying that I lied to him. Now, you could say you hate me because I told you I don't think you could play or this game isn't for you. That's different, right? Because that's my opinion, versus you going in the locker room saying, hey, man, I don't trust that dude. He lied to me. And as a player, if someone in the locker room says that about a new person in the building, they're done.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I always understood that and maintain that level of integrity, especially when it came to dealing with the players and the coaches.
Hey, Ran, in terms of quarterbacks in this league, what do you feel like Will Levis's future in the NFL is? And what do you feel like in terms of this draft, the talent in terms of the quarterback position is?
I think Will's going to be fine. we have to understand with Will, I think this may have been the fourth different offense he's had to learn in as many years. You know what I mean? And just him having another year in the system, is going to help him, understand what Cali wants in the system, understands, what it takes to play quarterback in the system. I think that'll help him. And then just in terms of the draft, I mean, it's the NFL, it's college football. It's going to always be talented dudes in this draft. So you're going to always be able to find them. It's the easy thing to say. I mean, you look at all these great quarterbacks. If you go down the list of all the teams in the playoffs, right, that started the playoffs, and look where they took those quarterbacks.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Like the research is there. You know what I mean? So you can go back and you can look at where those quarterbacks were taken. But then you will also see that there's a quarterback that was maybe taken in a second. Or, you look back last year, there was in Brock Purdy, the last pick of the draft.
The last Mr. Irrelevant.
So it's really you're going to be able to find players all throughout the draft.
Yeah,
what would you do in terms of drafting, though, if you were the Titans and you have all these options at number 1?
I would draft a good player.
If you're number 1, there are plenty of players.
You just mentioned the quarterbacks at the top of the rounds on the teams that's in the playoffs.
No, I didn't say at the top of the round.
Yeah.
I just said where they were taken. That could be free agency. That could be first round, second round.
Do you think, though, Cam Ward and Shador Sanders are legit, starters possibly in this league, though? I'm a big Cam Ward fan, so, I've been on that since he played for Washington State. But, again, I don't see that on film I'm not sitting there diving into that stuff.
Kayla like Cam Ward. He went to Washington State.
Yeah, that's damn right. And
I just needed Kayla to say that real quick.
Yeah, he's a worker, though. He's a worker. He's a grinder.
Yeah.
No, I think both of those guys are worthy, are capable of being starters, in the National Football League. And I think they've shown that in their play. The cool thing about, if you look at both of their situations, they both started at other schools, other programs, and then came in and continued to lead programs to success.
Yeah.
You look at Cam, started at Incarnate Word, and then, Washington State, and then Miami, and then you look at Shador. I think people forget that Shador coming out was a FAU commit to Willie Taggart.
That's right.
At the time.
Yeah.
And then, went to Jackson State, won at Jackson State, went to Colorado, lifted that program up. And had them in contention for, conference championship. So I think both of those guys, they're more than capable of being starters in the National Football League.
For sure. We talked at I think it was first season you was here. It's just you ain't been on vacation yet. The wife finally got you. What? You got Dreamville on the shirt. You look very relaxed now. You dropped some weight and everything, man.
Yeah, by the way, Rand, looking good.
Yeah, what? I thought it was the stress of the season. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Feeling svelte.
I think I might have asked that.
I think I saw you last game. You losing weight. I actually was thinking boy, it's stressing the hell out of him right now. But what's the plans in the imminent future here?
Like you said, me and my wife, we were talking last night. I think she's already tired of me, and just creating more structure for the day, for us day to day. This week would have been, an off week, had everything worked out, anyway. Yep. So had plans of taking this week off and, resting and relaxing. But I'll say this much. When I leave from here, I'm going to get my passport.
Okay.
I lost my passport.
I was going to say, hold up. You ain't too important not to have a passport.
No, I lost my passport, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm going to, again, I think the number one thing for me more than anything is being a present husband and father.
Yes, sir.
In a way that I haven't been able to be in the last 17 years. Now, I've always made my family a priority. You know what I mean? I don't miss my kids' games if I can help it. I don't miss parent-teacher conferences.
You sound like Ramon, honestly.
School performances. I make that a point. I make that a point of emphasis for me. But now, again, just being there, I have a friend here who's become a mentor. And, he went through a hard time probably, I guess, going on 15 years ago. And I asked him, I was like, how did you handle that, from a personal standpoint, and how did you get through it? And he told me, he said, when I went through that, he said, I took that as there was a lesson or something that God wanted me to see.
Right.
And he created the space for me to see it. And that guy said, from the day his situation started to happen, he poured into his wife, he poured into his kids. He created a routine of, working out with his wife, making, breakfast and lunch for his kids before school, spending more time with his kids, that way. So that's what I'm most, excited about doing, and being is more present as a husband and father.
No doubt about it. It's always fascinating, man, the life. Like, I never forget when I retired, I felt like the weight of the world was gone. Like, I can breathe. It'll be fascinating to see how your family adjusts to you, as you just said, and also what you do. Like, that's the biggest thing I felt like I had. Like, I got more busy, I'll be honest with you. Like, I got like 5 different jobs right now. But I know you probably going to be kicked up, chilling, and catching back up on your music, man.
Well, I mean, I could do that while exploring.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? But, it's one of those things for me, man. Like, I'm curious. I'm a curious person. So there are a lot of things that, I'm interested in that I'll be able to look into now, in the interim, until something, comes up. This is a crazy time of year in the NFL offseason.
Yeah,
All-Star games are kicking off here soon. Next week and through, the couple weeks, and then it's the combine, and then it's the start of the new league year and free agency. So it's a crazy time. But I'll definitely keep myself busy, finish some books. I probably read about 2-3 books at a time, just different places.
Okay.
During the season, the book that I kept with me in my bag and I only read it when we traveled. It was called the 5 Regrets of the Dying, right? Which kind of gives you perspective on what matters most in the end. It's a collection of stories of people who were, on their last days, and they shared with this lady, what they regretted the most.
Yeah.
And what they missed out on. So that was kind of like my keep things in perspective.
Yeah.
And then my nighttime reading is the Last Will and Testament of Lucky Luciano. And so
the gangster right here.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm currently reading. And then really getting into the Bible.
Yeah.
And exploring that. Shout out to Mitch and
with him
and Ted Cruz
Thursday
in Chicago. And then a daily devotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just covering it all, man. Just covering it all.
So for you, Ran, with having time to reflect now, what did you learn, I guess, the most about your time as a general manager here? And is that in your future?
I can't say whether it's in my future or not because I don't own a team.
Yeah.
That's up for other people to decide. The one thing I learned, about it, and you kind of knew it if you pay attention to the GMs that you work for. It's a lot that goes into the job, and it's not just sitting down watching film, breaking the film down. Like, there's so much that goes on a day-to-day basis, and it really depends on the type of person you are. And I know everyone GM's different.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I was a little bit more hands-on, when it came to the players because of, the relationships and just feeling like me coming from the culture, I understand these guys in a different way.
Right.
And I can understand, what they may be going through at the time and be able to help them. So, I took on a lot, from that standpoint. But, the one thing I'll walk away from this is that relationships matter. Relationships matter, more than anything, really. People have to be able to trust you. And again, that's everybody in the building, from the third floor ticketing office down to football ops. They have to trust you. And so, I've always carried myself that way, to be a trustworthy person, a reliable person that people could count on. In all my roles, in all my roles, starting from the very beginning of my career, I used to joke and call myself the camp counselor. You know what I mean?
That. I used to play camp counselor.
Because whether it was a player or a coach,
sure,
or whomever, support staff, whatever the case may be, you're someone that people trust to come talk their real life problems with. And if you can help them work through their real life problems, you free up their mind to be able to do, their job at a higher level, which matters.
Yeah.
And it means something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm. That's the part that I'll take with me, and part I'm probably gonna miss the most.
We're supposed to be kicking back, joking a little bit around her, man.
Y'all came back sappy again.
I know. Well, you got the journalist in the room here.
You do have the journalist in the room.
I was born into this.
That was awesome. You answered it properly, though. I got to give that to you. I think a lot of folks expecting you to go slanderous, but that ain't going to be the best method of operation.
And listen, I hate it for the people in the chat. That wanted me to go Cat Williams or
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
We were joking coming in that scene from Half Baked. I'm not gonna do what you think I'm gonna do
and wig out. Wig out.
Like I said, man, this experience, no matter how it ended, right? Yeah. It brought me to Nashville. It brought me to a place that I knew existed, but I wouldn't have found Nashville on my own.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it brought me to a place that could potentially be my forever home, and it allowed me to realize a dream, that I've had since, I was a kid of becoming a GM. You know what I mean? So you can look at it from a slanderous standpoint and go that route if you want to. But like I said, again, that's drinking poison, hoping that it hurts somebody else. Or you can look at, take it from the positive, standpoint, and that's what I choose to do. I'm not going to allow myself or anyone around me to live in a funk. And trust me,
sure.
The outpouring love I've gotten from my friends and the constant questions, I can show you right now on my phone. I got 2 texts right now asking, one saying, how was the weekend? And then the other one is how you doing?
Yeah.
And the weekend, the one asking me about the weekend is more so like, hey, with football being on. And, you know what I mean? And so, again, like when I tell people, I'm doing well. Mm-hmm. I'm doing well. Still a lot to process. Still a lot of things to, work out. But I'm not down in the dumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I left that room that day, it was hugs, and everything left on the up and up. So I'm in a positive space. Mm-hmm. So enough with this sappy stuff. Ramon, let's get this thing. Let's go.
No doubt. Kendrick, Super Bowl.
K-Dot.
Are you going for the Super Bowl? First and foremost, you still get access in a sense.
No.
You not?
Ramon, you know the rule.
What is the rule?
I think I know the rule.
If you're not playing in the Super Bowl,
you don't go.
You don't go
it's
to
been
the
mine
game.
too.
Do you go to like the parties and stuff though?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not a big crowd of people type of person.
So you are serious about the job and not lazy.
If you're just tuning in, we've asked plenty of questions, so you can go back and listen to the podcast if you're just joining.
Yeah.
I will. Will I watch? That's the.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
After we lost it, I still hadn't seen the full Green Bay game in 2011 in totality that we lost.
Same when we went in 2019 with the Niners against the Chiefs. I've never watched that game.
Same.
So
same.
I didn't get to watch that game on the plane, or any other time after that. So
that's you sir. Any other time after, get out of here, man. But what did you think of that though this time around? Like we've seen somebody. We're gonna speak music for a second. Somebody in Drake that's had the rap game in a chokehold, entertainment, and just get uprooted like that. Like, is that usually big business for the most part? Like, is that how it goes across most industries? I've said it this morning. Anybody that's been successful got a lot of dirt underneath their hands, more times than not. Like, is that how you've seen this situation go for a dude that had everything and now nothing?
Nah, man. It's honestly, you gotta. I'll say it this way: you gotta pick your battles.
Okay.
And I didn't when Cole stepped away from the beef, and he said, "You know what? I'll gracefully bow out."
Yeah.
The competitor in me was like, "What are you doing?
I did too.
How are you going to be one of the GOATs?" But then you saw the bludgeoning and the onslaught of just, and sometimes you got to know your opponent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, Drake probably does make better music, better radio friendly, more catchy stuff than Kendrick.
Charting stuff.
Yeah, he probably does.
Yeah.
But Kendrick is one of those students of the game, type rappers that knows no end. He's that friend that we had in the neighborhood that just didn't know when to stop.
I got one.
And so everybody has one.
Yeah.
And you could beat up that person or you could out joke that person, but that person wins because they never stop.
Yeah.
And so
Relentless.
Yeah.
And so Kendrick is one of those people. And then on top of that, not only does he never stop, but he's making good music.
Now.
You know, and we should thank Drake because Drake got him back to making stuff that people know and respect Kendrick for.
That's fascinating. And of course, I could easily correlate it to sports. Like the times that I got better was the time I either got embarrassed or I'll never forget, like being refueled by not winning the starting job my second year in the NFL. I was stepping on anything that came in my way.
Yeah, and that's the part too. And I think you should be nervous when Drake is really quiet. Now, again, that's to me because I'm not on social media. I don't know what Champagne Poppy is doing, on the internet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when people like him, because he's very thoughtful,
right?
And when people like that get quiet, it should make people nervous.
Same thing you said about Callahan earlier. When he's quiet, be on the lookout, man. We got to go to a break real quick though. But fascinating approach to it. I enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. I can't listen to Drake music the same.
Nah, it's
Kendrick bodied him.
Yeah, but I mean, I hate to say this, but you lost to the Packers, right, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you stop doing Steelers stuff?
No, absolutely not.
That's the point.
That's
the point.
It's just
it's a moment.
You're
it's
not
a
going to
loss.
lay down.
It's a moment.
It's a loss. That does not disqualify any of the great stuff that he made before that.
My passion and his passion is just different though too. Mine is I was directly affected by it. That one's not so much. We'll see. We got more to talk about.
We do. We still got to wrap up the show, guys. We've got Ran here the whole hour. We will wrap up the show, get more from Ran Carthon. He is live in studio. That's coming up next here on RK-Dub 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back into RK-Dub, wrapping up the show. Ran Carthon live in studio, kind enough to join us for this full hour. And wow, it's been a crazy weekend in terms of NFL news. I did want to bring up Mike Vrabel being hired by the Patriots. What did you think about the hire?
No, it's good for him. Good for him. He's a legend, up in that area. I'm sure that's going to excite the fan base, and get them going. And, they got guys up there, and Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith, who are great at what they do. So none but the best. Wish them the best.
No doubt about it. Same here. They got the guy. Hey, my guy had to get gone, but I say that, not you, and that's on me right there.
No, I got tons of love for Mayo.
Yeah.
Tons of, and because I, reached out
Absolutely.
but got tons of love for Mayo. Wish him nothing but the best as well. He'll be fine.
Well, folks in the chat asked also, since you're into this musical tip, you got a playlist you gonna drop? You need to be a celebrity DJ for the day. You got to at this point.
Listen. If that's where you want to go,
yeah, absolutely.
I can. Now I know it has to be above board, but no, we can figure it out because we can go R&B, we can go soul.
I got you.
We can go 90s, hip hop. I got everything in this phone, man. I got everything from. I did a playlist. This is about a couple years ago of sampled songs.
Nice.
So I did the sample, like the original, and then I did the sample.
Yep.
Oh
wow, yeah. I've done that.
I did a whole back and forth, one for hip hop, one for R&B.
No doubt.
Nice.
So
I've
Those are two
done
of my
that
genres.
before too. No, it's actually pretty dope to go back and hear the original, then hear the new version of it. Super, super dope, man. On the way out, because we about a minute left, man. What was the most fun part about the job? Like, because you grew up in the NFL, your pops has been in it, you played. Like, this has been your entire adult life.
Yeah, the fun part again was being around the players.
Yeah.
And watching them mature, watching them grow. And again, that's at every stop that I've been at. You come over to my house and you look at my closet in the front, and it's a bunch of jerseys that players have given me, throughout the years. And just building a relationship with those guys, and again making it's a personal relationship. Like, we have the football piece, but then I know these players' moms, and I know their dads and their brothers and sisters and, people that are close to them. And, just being able to do that, being able to, even me being in this position, provide a place for players who don't have somewhere to go for Thanksgiving or a place for players who don't have somewhere to go for Christmas. And, it's one thing, Callie and I used to talk about this. Callie says as the head coach, like, I open my house, but nobody's coming over to the head coach's house. You know what I mean? But then for me to do the same and actually have players hit you up and say, I'm a bunch of things. I've had one player say, hey, look, man, I don't know if you're my dad, my brother, my uncle, you know what I mean? So I teeter between being pops, being unk, OG, but being able to provide them a place where they know they could come for the holiday season and be comfortable and spend that time with me and my family, you know what I mean? Like my kids love it, particularly my sons, because they recognize every single player, know their name and their jersey number and where they went to school, and giving the players a safe space. So that's the part, that I've enjoyed the most and that I'll miss in the interim.
And I'll say, too, one more time with the class that you drafted this past one, it had to have been awesome to see some of these guys really blossom and get experience. I mean, nothing beats that. But T'Vondre Sweat, I just, how good is it to look back at that and say, damn, we made the right decision?
No, it's all those guys are my babies, going all the way back to the first class with Peter. And Peter's going to be a stud in this league.
Dude, he's grown. He's a leader in that locker room, Ran, and I thank him for that.
You legitimately have a chance to walk away from that locker room with Big Jeff, Sweat, Peter, and JC being the leaders of your football team. You know what I mean? And Ramon, you know that as a big man, nobody's going to come in there and mess with those dudes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. And I tell people all the time, those are your cornerstones. Like the receivers get the love. They're the show. They're the ones the NFL put up on the TV screen. But the bigs is who run the team, and you got to have a good accumulation of those.
Yeah, and I think that's there. Like I said, all those guys are my babies. Proud of all of them. Proud of Jarvis. And how he grew, and you knew what Jarvis was, and because we're from the same place, and you would have to go back and listen to that draft night call. And I think what I asked him to do on that draft night call, I think he did it. So excited for those guys.
Pretty cool. Ran, we can't thank you enough. Ran Carthon, appreciate you again, and good luck to you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys, man.
Appreciate you, man.
If any of you guys ever miss any more days and need me to come sit in as a guest host,
sweet.
Got nothing but time on my hands.
Love it.
We're going to ask more questions next time about this draft and his number one pick. If you do it again.
All right, that does it for the show. RK Deb on this Monday. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. Ramon?
Y'all know how it goes, man. At all times, man, your Twitter fingers and your mic always hot.